It's a hump day, and there's a lot of stuff going on in the sports world, and it's our first time visiting with you right here in this spot for the summer. Lots of stuff going on. The Stanley Cup Final begins tonight. The NBA Finals tomorrow. Baseball, we're at that point where we get to start going pretender or contender. Vegas Mac, what's up, buddy?
Not much, Mike. You're right. There's a lot going on. My plate is full. I feel a little bit like the Red Sox right now, but let's get this thing going.
A lot of stuff going on, and we are still digging through the technical issues that you saw with us last time. So we appreciate you all hanging out with us. Feel free to comment along with the show here. You know, a lot of stuff, as I mentioned, going on in the sports world, and we're going to focus a little bit here on baseball. I'm interested to see here in about an hour when TJ's video drops which way he sides Mac in the Stanley Cup Final. Does he side with your pick of the Panthers in overtime in Game 7? Does he side with my pick of the Oilers in 6? It's going to be fun tonight, and the baseball season is getting fun right now. The Colorado Rockies, literally, as we were coming on the air, finished a sweep. Yes, I said that right. A sweep of the Miami Marlins. Thanks for nothing there, Miami. Not that I had any wagers there. The Boston Red Sox and the Los Angeles Angels of Disneyland, Anaheim, Orange County, 7-5 in the fourth. Total pitchers duel there. And the Cincinnati Reds are continuing, as we speak, to fail to be able to beat the Milwaukee Brewers in Cincinnati. A lot of times at this point of the year, Mac, and you and I talk about it nonstop, this is that time of the year in the baseball season where you can see who's for real and maybe who got off to a hot start, like the San Francisco Giants, who's not for real.
Hey, now, wait a minute. Now, I don't think they're that bad. Yeah, you know, it's kind of funny that, you know, one of the things that kind of stands out to me so far is kind of the I would say the lack of races, kind of the separation in almost every division. I mean, I kind of really feel as though I have a pretty good idea who's going to end up winning these divisions and pretty much who the wild card is going to be in a lot of these cases. And that's usually not the case this early into the year, but there just seems like there's some clear-cut teams that are way above everybody else. And there seems like there's quite a division already amongst a lot of the different divisions. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, your wild cards, as you just alluded to in the American League, the Twins, Guardians, and Mariners with the Royals, and we'll get to the Royals here in just a second. At a game back in the American League. When you slip on over to the National League side, the Phillies and the Padres kind of in cruise control there. They've got some separation between the Cardinals, the Giants, the Brewers, who are about to win again, as I mentioned, in Cincinnati. And then we've got teams like the Arizona Diamondbacks. Like, what the hell? You know, injuries. There's any number of ways you can start with the Diamondbacks. I know the D-backs were a team that we were all extremely high on going into this season. I think a lot of people in the baseball world in general were extremely high. And to see that team at 29-31, Mac, under 500 at this point, and they got tattooed in a stretch of home games with Washington and with Pittsburgh. And, you know, it's for me, the biggest surprise is how bad the Diamondbacks have been so far this season. What's the biggest surprise been for you?
Well, I think, well, I'll take it from a positive standpoint. It's kind of funny. I have to say the New York Yankees are really a surprise for me. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but you know that we had a lot of questions about the New York Yankees kind of going into the season. And they've kind of, you know, Devin Williams didn't pan out part one. We'll see what he does now in part two, because he's going to have a chance to close again. But this is a Yankees team, and part of it is because the East hasn't been as good as we thought. But the Yankees are cruising, and to me, that's a little bit of a surprise from that standpoint. But yeah, you know, the Diamondbacks. You want to talk about a disappointment? their bullpen, just their overall pitching has been terrible. You know, my poor son has been just run through the ringer uh, as a Diamondbacks fan. But, you know, I made a list of like teams that I think could be part of that first trade, like who's going to make the first trade.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if the Diamondbacks don't figure it out, you could see a Merrill Kelly or a Zach Gallen be traded.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned Gallen because, you know, we talked about their contract situations with the two of those guys you just mentioned going into the season, and Gallen has just really just been a shell of what we typically expect out of Zach Gallen. And to see this team at the 60-game mark, -5 on the run differential, they're 3-7 in their last 10 games. I mean, I think they're the biggest eye opener. I know you had alluded to another team in the American League not that long ago in one of your MLB Fridays that have been tossed around all over the place right now, kind of like the Diamondbacks bullpen, and the Texas Rangers and how poor they've been offensively this season as well. You know, I want to flip that from the American League, and one of the teams that I'm actually starting to drink some of their Kool-Aid. Now, I'll preface that, and if TJ was here, he would be the first one to say this. The Los Angeles Angels. This team can score, as you well know, watching them against your beloved Red Sox right now. This team can score with anybody. They can mash with anybody. Their pitching is also downright horrible. But that whole American League West, we talk about it every single year. The Astros, it's time for somebody else to come in. They start slow, and then boom, here's the Astros again at the top of the division. Now, to give Seattle a little bit of credit there, Seattle's playing good baseball right now. The Athletics are the Athletics. They're just downright atrocious playing in Coors Field of California this year. But what do you make of the AL West as a whole right now?
I mean, I hate to say this, I'm still not buying the Houston Astros. I just think there's too many questions with that team. I think Seattle is going to be that team that's going to be very active around the trade deadline. They need a first baseman. I mean, that's obvious. That's what they need. They've got some excess pitching. I have a little love for Seattle. I just think they're a better team. I just don't know. The Rangers, I can't figure that team out. I can. They can't hit. That's basically it. Now they've lost Nasty Nate for a little bit. That's going to hurt. They are getting Kumar back today. But he's a young arm. I don't know how much he's going to help. But that's again, not watching a whole lot of the Angels, but watching them over the last 3 days. The top of that lineup is really, really good. They hit some home runs. Mike Trout looks good coming back. He's just been DHing, but offensively, he looks really good. And, Artie Moreno is not afraid to go and make a trade or two. And so it'll be interesting to see what the Angels do. I mean, they're right smack dab in the middle of it. So that's an interesting division, but I'm not sold yet on Houston.
Yeah, no, not at all. And now that we've gotten to that point, and we talk about it all the time on this show, when you hit Memorial Day, that's when you can really see who is a player and who's not. So there were some guys that did some interesting stuff, and it's kind of ironic that I bring this up now today because he got tattooed by the Brewers. But again, like I said, with Cincinnati, I don't have the exact number. I think going into the series, though, they had lost 16 of their last 20 in Cincinnati against Milwaukee. But Andrew Abbott in the month of May for the Reds was lights out. 0.56 ERA, 3-0. I watched his entire performance. I believe it was Friday when they were in Chicago to play the Cubs, and he had the Cubs tied up in just absolute knots. Today, 7 hits, 5 earned runs over 6 innings. It's 9-1 as we speak right now in the bottom of the 9th at the Great American Bandbox there with 2 outs. So the Brewers are going to get another victory there. But, some guys on the bump that have been really, really good in the month of May. I just mentioned Abbott, Chris Bubich of the Royals, who, again, I'll get to them here in a second, and Robbie Ray of the Giants. Robbie Ray has been fantastic all season long. The problem with the Giants right now is their offense is downright offensive. And in Giants fans land, everybody's clamoring because Bryce Eldridge got moved to AAA yesterday. I am imploring Buster Posey, not that he needs my friggin' help. He knows what he's doing. He was left a flaming bag of shit from the previous people making baseball decisions there. Bryce Eldridge does not need to be wearing a Giants uniform. for the duration of this season. They need to build a balanced lineup. Willie Adames needs to show up and hit. And my concern when we talked about the Giants, you guys all told me, hey, I think this Giants team is going to be a lot better than you, speaking to me. Thought they were, and my concern was I didn't know if the pitching staff would hold up. The pitching staff has been lights friggin' out. They can't score a damn run in San Francisco right now. Do not bring Bryce Eldridge up. Please do not bring Bryce Eldridge up this year. Willie Adames will figure it out. We see this all the time. And this leads me to my next point. The big talk so far, Juan Soto, and how he struggled with the big contract. Willie Adames, massive contract with the Giants, can't hit his way out of the wet paper bag right now. And we see this all the time, Mac. We see these guys sign these massive deals, and almost 9 out of every 10 of them struggle out of the gates with that massive deal. And we're seeing that in those two guys, in Soto, who's been a little better as of late, and Adames, who's not off to a good start in San Francisco.
Well, I think that the Met fans are a little bit, I don't know what they want. I mean, I'll be honest. Number one, your team's in first place. I mean, I'm looking at Juan Soto. I mean, his average is low. I mean, 233. I mean, but he does have 11 home runs and 30 RBIs. I mean, they're not Judge numbers, and they're not going to be Judge numbers. He's not Aaron Judge. He's Juan Soto. He's a different player. So I'm not quite sure what the Mets are complaining about. I mean, this is a team that's played very, very well. I mean, if he's hitting a little bit more, they may have even extended that lead a little bit on Philadelphia. But I think they've been a little hard on Juan Soto. I'm in the camp of, I mean, average down to what he normally hits. Yeah, I will agree. But I don't think Juan Soto has really played all that bad. I don't know what the Mets are expecting from him. Like, are they expecting 60 home runs? Are they expecting 200 RBIs? Are they expecting him to hit 400? I mean, those are unrealistic expectations. I mean, your team's in first place and they're playing well. What more do you want from this guy? I think they're putting undue pressure on him when it's unnecessary.
Yeah, and there's going to be the people out there. And again, feel free to comment if you're watching along. We appreciate you. Follow us on all of our social channels at Mike Arana Show everywhere but Snapchat, because we're not 12 and Snapchat sucks. TJ, whenever you come back, you can gladly have your line back. I can't say it as good as he does. But, what's the ailing or what's the the cure to any ailing offense, any ailing superstars? Well, take a trip on out to Colorado, and that's where the Mets head next. For a weekend series with the Rocks, who again are red hot right now. Checking in on my prediction that they would be the worst team in the history of baseball. They are 12-50 now through 62 games. Actually, I think they're 13-50 now. I don't think this is updated. A minus 181 on the run differential for the Rock Bottoms, the Colorado Rockies. When the mountains are blue, your beer is as cold as the Colorado Rockies. We can make all the jokes all day long there, but yesterday was a big day for me, Mac. It was a big day.
What's going on?
I have never wanted to watch a St. Louis Cardinals baseball game more than anything, but Jack Caglione, Jack Tommy, whatever you want to say, Jackpot makes his debut for the Royals last night. He goes 0 for 5, and if I remember the box score, I don't have it up in front of me right now, but I think he was the only Royal yesterday that didn't get a hit. But
right.
I've watched this Royals team play a lot this year. The crew, and we'll get to our halfway through picks here, but watching Jack Caglione play at the University of Florida, everybody had high hopes for him. The teams that passed him in the draft, I think, are going to greatly regret that fact. But just his presence alone in watching that game last night against the Cardinals, you saw the Royals have a little more get up, a little more juice to their step last night. So in the case of Jack Caglione, I think the Royals did exactly what they had to do. David Sampson, a former executive with the Miami Marlins, did not agree with the decision because I
was going to say,
$10 million. Listen, if Jack Caglione gets that offense going, just his presence there. I mean, 0 for 5 last night. Got robbed a couple of times on some rockets that he hit in the infield. His first at bat, almost all the way to the wall. Great play in center field by the Cardinals there. But Cags coming up for the Royals was enough to get them going because they have a balanced lineup around him. To go back to my point on Bryce Eldridge, who Giants fans, and I think he's going to be great, but there's no reason to rush him. There's not a balanced lineup around him. Caglione with the Royals, there is a balanced lineup around him. And I saw a little more get up out of the Royals last night. And this, just him being there, could be the thing that catapults them going forward.
One of the, big stats now is they talk about, hard hit. I guess 4 of his at bats, his average, the ball speed off the bat was over 95%. He's had a ground out that was like at 113. So it's not like he was hitting bloopers or getting, he was on these pitches is what I'm basically saying. And so he, like you said, that first at bat, it took a great catch in center field. I don't know who the center fielder was for the Cardinals, but took a great catch to rob him of an extra base hit right off the bat. So, these guys, a lot of rookies come up, they have some success, and then there's that adjustment period where teams, they get the book on him a little bit more, they watch his at bats, they make adjustments, and then you have to make those adjustments. Jackson Holiday, he's a perfect example of that. He's starting to make those adjustments now. So, it's exciting. And Mike, it's kind of funny because that was one of the things that I was going to talk about. It's kind of like, I feel, we talk a lot about the bad things about baseball, but there are a lot of good things. And I think, I don't know the word, maybe you can come up with the word for me, but I feel as though we're in a generational swing right now with baseball. And, I looked at like the top 10 oldest guys in baseball and said, okay, who are we losing? Like, these are guys that are kind of ending up their career. And, you throw in Verlander, Scherzer, Justin Turner, Carlos Santana, Andrew McCutchen, all good players. But let's be honest, not great players. But look at the excitement that we have in baseball right now with these young players. Ohtani, Skeens, Judge, Witt, Soto, Gunnar Henderson, Skubal, Harper, Jackson, Merrill. I mean, that's just to name a few. I don't know the word to put on it, but I just feel as though baseball, I don't want us to miss it because I think we're in one of these generational swings, or again, I can't think of the word, but there's so much promise with this young talent pool of baseball players right now. Let's not screw it up.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think the interesting thing about Sampson's comments in the Royals costing themselves $10 million in arbitration and control years, a year earlier. And I don't have his exact quote in front of me because I kind of laughed when I saw it. And I think for the most part, that's kind of the problem with the way the game has been operated by Farhan Zaidis and people in those positions over the past couple of years is we're so worried about, well, if we wait, 10 more days. The Royals couldn't wait 10 more days. Their offense was essentially kind of non-existent over the last couple of weeks. Victor Scott was the center fielder that robbed Cags in his first at bat, by the way. But I think transformational is still probably not the word you're looking for, but we are in that passing of the baton. Baseball ratings are up about 10% across the board right now, which is amazing because you still can't watch the games in half the friggin' places you need to. But yeah, we do have such a good young crop of ball players right now. I mean, and here's another team I talked about at the beginning of the year. And yes, they're not, pushing for a playoff spot, if you will. They're not far out of a wild card spot, but I mentioned and the exact thing I said about this team, the Washington Nationals, is I thought they were going to be a pain in the ass to a lot of teams this year because you're seeing, Wood and Cruz and Young and all these guys finally get a chance to play together. They're third in the East. Now, part of that is because the Braves have sucked so bad to start the year. They're coming back into the middle of the pack, but the Nats are doing exactly kind of what I expected them to do. They're kind of being a pain in the ass right now. And we talk about it with the Athletics all the time. They're Lawrence Butler, Brent Rooker, Jacob Wilson, who is running away with the American League Rookie of the Year right now. And, that just the disaster zone that John Fisher and company, his clown car friends have created there in Sacramento. And it's like, Pete Crow Armstrong, there's been a lot of people that said he was overrated, and it looks like this year he's playing up to that, and Ellie Dela Cruz. I mean, we can sit here, you could have kept going for 5 minutes and you couldn't have got to all the good young players. Bryce Eldridge, a guy we just talked about with the Giants, you mentioned Jackson Merrill. I mean, we can still go through here. I mean, look at the years that Ward and Ohapi are having for the Angels right now. I mean, we are in that progressive transformational period, and I think that does have something to do with why the baseball ratings are up. It's still a head scratcher to me, but I think we're also pushing out those people that think along the lines that Samson was going with his comments on why the Royals didn't wait 2 more weeks to bring Caglione up. Now, Jack could struggle for his first 2 weeks. I mean, hell, he could go and go a whole first series without getting a hit. I mean, it does take you the adjustment time here. But on the flip side of this, like you're dead on. There's so many good young players, and the future of the game on the field is in great hands. It's off the field that I'm severely concerned about, and I don't need to reiterate my thoughts on Rob Manfred.
No, and it's funny. We have the flip side playing out right in front of us, which is kind of funny. And the flip side's in Boston. You have the number 1 prospect in baseball in Roman Anthony, who continues to rake. Yesterday hits a home run in the bottom of or top of the 9th, I think, to tie the game. You have a Red Sox team that is struggling to score runs. They're not bringing him up. They say he's not ready yet. But they brought up. I know they brought up Marcel Meyer. They've had Kristen Campbell there all year. So it's. I mean, part of it I get. Like, it's a positional thing. Like, where do you put him? Because the Red Sox struggle with position identification. That's a Red Sox problem right now. They can't identify who plays what position. But there's no spot for him in the outfield. I understand that, and they have a full-time DH. So where does this guy go? I don't know. So it's kind of that whole thing is kind of playing out right in front of us. I mean, here we have a Royals team that let's be honest, maybe has underachieved so far this year, and they're like, okay, we've gone as far as we can. We need something to give us a boost. We've got this great prospect. Let's give it a try. Here we have the Boston Red Sox. Well, we've really downplayed our hand in the entire year, and we have the best, if you will, prospect in baseball. We're still going to hold on to him. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out over the next couple of weeks. I don't know the exact date. I know it's coming up. I don't know if it's the end of June or the beginning of July, where that extra year would have that buffer in there. I know it's coming up. So it'll be interesting to see maybe after this Red Sox Yankees series, if they bring up Anthony, if that's around the time. It's interesting to me.
I think the date off the top of my head is around the 17th. So, and that was the thing with Cags is, you waited 10 more days, but again, different situations and different. The only game going on right now, speaking of those Red Sox, we've seen 5 pitchers, 15 runs, 18 hits and an error, and we haven't even completed the 5th inning. The Angels up 8-7 on the Bo Sox right now. So, Mac, a lot of stuff going on. We're going to have a lot of these lunchtime check-ins throughout the summer here. Again, TJ's picks for Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final, which drops tonight. His picks will be up here in about a half hour, and you'll see which way TJ's leaning in Game 1 of the Panthers-Oilers rematch. We've got the series tomorrow night between the Pacers and Thunder. You got Mac's thoughts this morning, my thoughts yesterday on the series. I'll break that down a little more in what I like for Game 1 tomorrow. But, it wouldn't be one of our shows if we didn't get to this point and drop a couple of best bets here before we have some closing remarks. So I'll go first here, Mac, in something that we don't normally do, just because usually I have to sit down, strap in, put on a helmet and everything else when you do best bets. But my best bets for tonight, again, I don't know if he's going to be in the lineup. I would assume he's going to be, but with the way he was last night for Kansas City, the buzz, the vibe, the protection in the lineup, the way he was putting the bat on the ball in his first game, Caglione did not look like he was not ready for the moment last night. And I know he's going to be chomping at the bit today to get that first hit out of the way. He's got Miles Michaelis on the mound. So I'm going to go with Cags to hit a home run tonight for the Royals. And my second best bet is every single player in the starting lineup tonight for the Minnesota Twins, as they are playing again in Coors Field of California against the artists formerly known as the Oakland Athletics. So everybody on the Twins, they hit a homer tonight. You should be able to get at least one out of there. Twins team total over 10. Lay the 1.5, 2.5, 3.5. It doesn't matter. That A's pitching staff is absolutely atrocious. They've given up 45 home runs in their last 20 games. So Cags and insert player on the Twins for me, my best bets tonight. Go for it, my friend.
All right, I'm going to start off with the Phillies. Mick Abel, great first start for him. He went 6 innings, 9 strikeouts. He's pitching against Toronto tonight. I'm going to take Abel, and we're going strikeouts here. I'm going to say he's going to have over 7 strikeouts tonight. Okay, that's number one. Mick Abel, 7 strikeouts, his second major league pick. We all know that everybody loves the long ball, so let's just go ahead and go there. We're going to go out to Seattle tonight. Seattle taking on.
Going.
I'm going with the Baltimore Orioles. Believe it or not, I'm going with somebody on the Orioles. He's having a really good year. Average-wise, down. He's only hitting .232, but 10 home runs and 31 RBIs. I'm going with Cedric Mullins to hit a home run.
Cedric Mullins, who might only be wearing a Baltimore Orioles uniform for about another 6 to 7 weeks. We will keep an eye on that. Yeah, and the summer is an underrated sports time, because after we get through these these championship series in hockey and in hoops, baseball's on center stage. So hopefully the ratings going up by about 10% so far, and this crop of young players that we just alluded to, that continues, and that will carry us through the summer, the dog days, as we all know there. But Cags for me, Mullins for Mac. He's also likes Abel strikeouts. I like everybody on the Twins. Overruns, again, Coors Field of California there in West Sacramento. We will talk to you again next week. We're going to drag TJ out of mothballs and get him back on here with us. Enjoy your summers, those of you that are on summers. For the rest of you grinding it out, we appreciate you, and we're going to help try and get you through your lunch times and your work days. For Vegas Mac, for everybody behind the scenes, I'm Mike. We'll talk to you soon. We're out.